We are the Building Industry Federation of New Zealand, connecting the building industry supply chain and promoting growth across the building industry. My name is Julien Leys, and welcome to our Building Leaders Forum series, where we chat with leaders in their field from throughout the industry. Fletcher Living is one of New Zealand's largest building companies, delivering thousands of homes across Auckland and Christchurch. We spoke to Aurelie Le Gall, the GM of Fletcher Living, about some of the key issues affecting the affordability and delivery of new homes in New Zealand. Welcome, Aurelie Le Gall, GM of Residential for Fletcher Building, to the Building Industry Leaders Forum.
Thank you for having me.
This is a series that's going to talk to leaders like yourself in the industry and explore topical, interesting issues. You are a very interesting person in terms of your background. You've got 20 years of experience in the industry. You're a leader in the industry, and you're heavily involved in residential construction and building, and have been involved in some of the biggest sort of projects, particularly of new homes around Auckland. So we're going to be talking to you about that, and then some of the things that you have to deal with, both as opportunities and challenges. Well, look, let's talk about, because you're passionate about residential construction.
Yes.
It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what really drives you in your role.
Sure. So I've been the GM of Fletcher Living for only a few months now, actually, but have been with the business for over 5 years. And I was previously looking after the delivery of homes in some of our Auckland West region, North and West region. So I had a deep involvement in that delivery. My role now, having stepped into the GM role, is I look after a variety of regions, so 3 Auckland regions and 1 in Canterbury. So Auckland and Canterbury are the only regions we currently operate in, and look after the teams that basically deliver communities, brand new communities to the market. So the teams that I look after anything from the design, the procurement, sourcing of contractors and materials and suppliers, to overseeing the construction program and delivery of those homes, through to sales and marketing as well. And then on to the customer care piece, that ongoing engagement with the homeowners post-settlement. So it's I guess, incredibly rewarding, because we get to build communities from scratch and really change the shape of some regions of Auckland and Christchurch, and that's incredibly rewarding.
Auckland's been described as the engine room in a whole bunch of ways for the country, and certainly some of the largest residential demands are here. But what are some of the things you are seeing in terms of being able to both deliver quality and affordability? How do you, what strategies do you have to sort of address that?
It's a constant focus. I mean, we do play, if we look at this year, for example, the homes we've delivered in the last 12 months and what we're looking to deliver in the next 12 months, over 65% of our homes in Auckland sit below the Auckland median house price. It's a really cool focus of ours, is to stay within that bracket, if you like, and continue to deliver for most Aucklanders homes they can afford. Again, affordability is all relative to people's individual circumstances. So you have your first home buyers, and again, within first home buyers, that particular segment, not 2 first home buyers are the same. There isn't just that one particular profile of individuals in that budget. Typically, yes, for that market, you do need to bring product below a particular point. We certainly heavily focused on delivering a portion of our homes in any master plan, most of our master plans in our subdivisions, below that 800K mark. And that means we're constantly working on what is the right typology, what are the right floor plans, how do we continue to evolve the homes that we build, that we deliver to the market, to be able to meet that requirement. Which, largely we are. In any of our subdivision, there is a home for everyone. And so we focus on that affordability, all relative to people's circumstances. So when you are a young family and you're looking to buy your second or your third home because you need more space, you need perhaps a backyard, whatever the situation might be, it doesn't have to be over the $2 million mark in Auckland. How do we deliver more affordable step up homes for larger standalones in our communities for people so they can actually afford them. So that's a constant thread for us in terms of the work that we do. How do we evolve our floor plans? How do we learn from what the hundreds of homes that we've built and sold so far? What are our customers telling us? We do a lot of aftercare visits or post settlement and 12 months down the line visit, understand how people are living in our homes. What do they use their garages for? What do they like about the floor plan? What are the must-haves, the things that we must continue to deliver, and the things that perhaps they didn't like as much?
And Aurelie, are you able to talk about one or two of the projects that really are standouts for you in terms of the delivery of those amenity values and everything else? Can you talk about one or two of those?
One or two projects? Yeah, I mean, we've got, we have currently about to wrap up one of our most successful subdivisions for the last 8 or so years in Auckland, which is Whenuapai. And Whenuapai started off, as I said, 9 years ago, and we are in the process of completing and selling the very last few homes. And if I look at what we have achieved there from a building a community perspective, it's incredibly well connected. The amenities have started to show up around the Whenuapai community. And I guess to a point, it's almost victim of its own success, because now it's coming to an end, and we have friends of families of homeowners who have bought in the community who are really looking to join the community as well. And yes, for closeness to the motorway, transport, well connected to Auckland, to the proximity to the airport, and it's a really, really safe, really lovely community.
Now, just moving on, if we can, within the theme of cost, but bringing in innovation and technology. Mm-hmm. Fletcher Residential is part of Fletcher Building. How much are you seeing drawing on the innovation and the research and design side of what Fletcher Building Residential is doing to bring through new methods of manufacturing and new materials?
Yeah, so we're in constant communication with and in collaboration with our sister companies. A perfect example, in fact, the pinnacle of that collaboration was the low carbon home, LOCO project, which you may have heard of, which is really a true testament of how our business unit collaborate for a better outcome for the industry. So this was a particular project, a standalone in a group of 3 terraces, and we're now learning, I guess, taking the insights and how do we scale, how do we take the learnings from the low carbon homes, and what do we take into standard typologies across all of our subdivisions. And so we're doing that in partnership with our other business units.
And does that also, do you also have to factor in terms of reducing emissions and carbon? Mm-hmm. Are you looking at ways in which you can minimise that, including materials and the way that the homes are constructed?
Correct. So it's twofold. One, it's reducing the embodied carbon, the actual building of the home. So, low carbon concrete type solutions. And then the other portion, which is critically important, is to reduce the carbon footprint of the home over its life cycle, is the energy efficiency, and how do we provide homes that reduce water and energy consumption.
And in fact, it's a good point, because the efficiency of homes, it's always in focus in terms of, we all know how expensive power is.
Correct, yes.
And there are alternatives, but is the focus also on finding the best way to heat and cool the homes in terms of design and some of the technology?
Yes, so we're trying to, at the moment, working very, very closely with our design team and our sister companies and other suppliers to solve a variety of problems. One being, and it's not specific to our homes, it's the overheating of some of the homes that could be occurring in some instances, depending on the orientation and the type of home, and also how do we deliver a home that is as energy efficient as it can possibly be in reducing energy costs for our customers. That is an incredibly pain point for customers, like any of us. The rising rising living costs are a challenge, and we're here to try and address that. In an ideal world, we'd love to be able to deliver a no-bill home. We have, those concepts do exist overseas, and not quite there in New Zealand yet. So we're trialing different things, but at the very least, we're 100% committed to delivering low energy cost homes.
The other challenge that's always been sort of at different phases with the industry is how we attract people into the industry, both as apprentices, including greater diversity. What's your view on that in terms of, is this still a challenge that we need to prioritise?
It is. First, I guess the industry is incredibly broad. If you think about, for us, the residential world, the people who build our homes are contractors, subcontractors, and in the trades, we're seeing a lot of our younger apprentices have gone overseas already. There's widely publicised, heavily talked about, and we are seeing it. So it is a challenge. Attracting new people in New Zealand into the industry is a combination of factors. There's that pastoral care around people when they join the industry. Do they feel supported, welcome? Do they feel they're being given the tools to succeed? And you've got varying degrees of practices in the industry, so I feel that needs a bit of attention. So your experience as an apprentice, regardless of the trade that you're choosing, is a positive one and is reasonably consistent across trades. There's lots of work to do there, whether you're male or female, but certainly particularly if you're female, no doubt about that. And how do we make it more attractive? I think our industry is very hidden. There's, when I speak to young students who might be considering a career in construction, they're thinking big commercial buildings. They're not thinking about the residential world. They think that's a little bit, perhaps it won't be as exciting. Perhaps it might be too market dependent. How do I grow my career in a sustainable way? So more visibility of the range of careers available. How do we enable those young people to thrive? In terms of the broader industry in general, because it's not, our industry, the career pathways are not just within the trades. There's the health and safety, there's engineering, the consultant, the architects. There's a variety of individuals and career options within the residential construction industry. That's not necessarily obvious to young people today. A big fan of work experiences, and when career advisors or anyone or mum and dad talk at the dinner table around career options, I don't know if residential construction shows up a lot unless it's an opportunity to get into trades, and it could be something that the individual's already thinking about. But outside of that, I don't know if we quite have a brand as an industry as a desirable industry to get into. And I can't think of anything more exciting than building homes and delivering large communities and reshaping certain areas of a city. That's incredibly exciting, and everybody has a role to play in that.
You mentioned health and safety, and that has always been an important part of the industry, and we've had organisations like Mates in Construction play their part importantly, because during COVID, was a tough time for the industry, and the industry has got a record of, grappling with mental illness and other things like that. How much of health and safety plays a role in how you work with your contractors and just making sure that people are safe on site? Yes,
it is possibly one of the main things we work on together. Protect is one of our core values in our business, and we work very, very hard to raise the bar. So we constantly get told by contractors who might be working with other people in the industry or have worked in the industry a long time that the bar is pretty high on Fletcher Living sites. That's great to hear. With that presents, I guess, challenges in terms of some of the requirements and getting everybody on board to follow up Protect standards. But equally, we have a responsibility. We build a lot of homes in the two core markets that we operate in. So we're a key player, and we don't want the standard on a Fletcher Living site. We don't want a contractor to adopt different practices and feel safe on our site and go home safely at night and then do a different job the next day and kind of have a different behavior or different approach to safety. So we spend a lot of time, we invest a lot of time in coaching, developing, how do we elevate the skill set and people's understanding of, yes, the principals and the team leaders, but also the apprentices. We do apprentice engagement sessions to, engage with them, make sure they, test their understanding, make sure they get the messages directly from us, that they feel part of the team and they have a voice. Because part of keeping yourself and others safe is to be able to spot what might not be safe, yes, but be confident enough to speak up. And so that takes, it takes a particular culture to have individuals who might be apprentices and might be the second day on the job to be able to speak up and say, I don't think this is safe for me to do, or I don't think this is safe for that person to do, and speak up and, intervene then, because if you don't, it might be too late.
Aurelie, we've come through COVID, but there were many challenges during COVID, particularly impact on the building supply chain. But companies have learnt from those challenges where we couldn't get materials, where it was very difficult to actually find anything to carry on building. From Fletcher Residential, what have been some of the learnings and things you have done to adapt and move on from those supply chain challenges?
Very good question. We've certainly had to adapt, and we've navigated those times as well as we possibly could, just like the rest of the industry. We've learned we've diversified a little bit. Maintaining, we've been very cautious of maintaining relationships with long-standing suppliers, but equally understanding that we needed to de-risk for the future as well. So we've, formed additional relationships and worked our way through that. I feel that where the critical supply issues were, a lot of the suppliers have also worked really hard to de-risk their business and have come forward with their plans and are engaging with us really closely on making sure that those issues don't arise anymore moving forward. I think it would take a significant crisis again in New Zealand perhaps for that to happen, but we certainly need to de-risk, and I feel we're in a much stronger position today, having learned from all of that. So we've learned, the suppliers have learned an awful lot as well.
I'd love to ask you, because you're a passionate leader in building, and it's what drives you. You live and breathe it.
Yes.
What's the sort of one recollection you have from any age time in your life that really got you passionate about building and construction?
Very good question. I think, home ownership is I'm excessively passionate about that. I want everyone to be able to have those ambitions and live in their own homes. I remember buying my first home. It was far too many years ago to mention, but it was one of the most significant moments in my life, and I bought a home by myself, and I was incredibly proud. And certainly see the impact of home ownership on people close to me and others in the community, and how that's how critical that is, and being part of enabling individuals to purchase their home, have their own home to live in comfortably is incredibly important to me. It's important to me in my own personal life, but it's important to me to be able to pay it forward and somehow, and ensuring that what I do day in, day out, and what my team and I do enables others to, get on the property ladder is one aspect of it, but it's more feeling safe and comfortable in your own space. It's one of the, critical, core needs of individuals or human beings, and being able to deliver on that. I mean, a home purchasing, stage is a very, very important stage. It's a highly emotional stage for most people. Brings a lot of pride and emotion, and it's a huge investment. It's perhaps the biggest investment people will be able to make in their lifetime. So it's a big deal, and I love it.
Great. Well, Aurelie, thank you so much. As a building leader, thank you for taking part in the Building Industry Leaders Forum. It's been wonderful hearing your insights and your takes on the opportunities and the challenges facing residential construction in New Zealand. We've learnt a lot, and thank you again.
Thank you for having me, Julie.
Thank you.